something dropped onto the cage. Knocks you right out.
Yeah.
Spoke to me.
Looked like a man, one of WoW's creatures. It just stared at you for a moment, then threw itself down the abyss.
Well,
It said it would make
I can't get more
preparations.
dead.
I don't like the sound of that.
It was very strange. I thought it was going to kill you for sure. Glad it didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Looks like we're closing in on the ocean floor.
Good. Not sure the climber can take it much longer. Okay, so this is the Omega Sector. It's about an acre of the abyssal plan used by Pathos 2. I expect we'll have to do some walking before we reach Tau.
You haven't been here before?
Not in a way that'll help us.
Right, the other you has been here. We're following in your own footsteps, Kat.
When I had footsteps.
You could still be down here somewhere, technically.
Don't remind me, freaks me out. Alright, let's head for Tau and find that art.
See, he says shit like this to her, and then he's all like, "Why are you not bothered, Catherine? Why?" I'm like, dude.
Fuck off.
Yeah, seriously, like, I just don't like Simon.
Yeah, no. He's kind of a bitch, actually.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. Alright, so we've got some exploring here to do. What's your opinion? So I make the distinction that and it's not a super uncommon sci-fi trope, and it's certainly been explored better in other novels than it has in Mind Scam by Robert Sawyer, which again I do not recommend anyone read personally. What is your distinction on like AI that are exact duplicates and have all the functionality of a human mind? Like, is that a person?
I mean, why not?
Go. What?
Why not?
Because...
I mean, he still obviously has all of his fucking feelings.
Right.
So, I mean, and he's generating new thoughts.
Yes.
The same as his old self would have been.
Yeah, it's all the capacities of the human brain.
Well, not just the capacities, but the capacities of his old personality.
What do you think his personality is a product of?
I get that, but...
It's a product of his brain. So, all the capacities of his brain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how you define, like, what makes you human. Like, do you have to have a body? Do you have to have a soul?
Tau? Come in, Tau. Please answer, Tau. Nothing. It's dead.
Let's move out. We'll try the next one.
Alright, well, I mean, there isn't really a right or wrong answer to the question, right? Like, it's all opinion anyway. So I'm just saying, what's your opinion? Like, is... So, there's further question about it, too. So, like, here's where I draw the distinction. If you took... sorry, I'll lower my voice. If you took a human brain and transplanted it into an android body, I would still say that that's still you.
Right.
But if you take that same human brain and make a perfect replica of it into an AI, now it's not human anymore.
Okay, so that's where you draw the line.
That's where I draw the line.
I mean,
And
this
it
is all that's
seems-
left of humanity, so...
Right. Well,
I mean, the definition of humanity becomes a lot more flexible at this point when it doesn't exist.
or you just say that humanity's gone and what's left is whatever you want to call this, which is what I would do.
I mean, they all feel like they're still human.
Yeah, that's the point. They have to, or else it's not a perfect replica.
Well, I mean, Catherine knows she's not human. She knows she's like a program on a thing.
Yes.
Like, she doesn't feel like she's human anymore, but she still has the same feelings as Catherine. Mm-hmm. Like, she's freaked out by the idea of another one of herselves being out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, Simon's real freaked out by that.
Mm-hmm.
And Simon's mobile. He's more human in design. You're going the wrong way. You're killing me.
So where do you draw the distinction? What's the difference between something that's AI and or something that's human and something that's not?
I mean, I would say he's human. Like I said.
No, I'm asking where you draw the line.
know. I mean, I don't feel like there's something that distinctly separates humanity from necessarily other species. Like, I feel like a lot of people's turning points are like self-awareness and stuff, and that's not really exclusive to humans. So,
What other species is self-aware?
I mean, any species that looks in a mirror recognizes themselves.
That's not what self-awareness is.
Okay, so how do you define it?
Self-awareness is the capacity to ask, who am I?
I mean, we don't really have the ability to translate that if another species asks that question.
Yeah, but you also know that they're not intelligent enough because you can directly measure the intelligence quotient of animals.
That's not true. We're finding out more and more things are a lot more intelligent than we ever thought they were.
Give an example.
I mean, just dogs now. Like, one of the things that I've learned at the shelter that's only been found out in recent years is that they have to have, like, some sort of mental stimulation or else they just suffer. And nobody thought that was necessary before. They thought they were too dumb. Like, you could just let them do their thing and they'd be fine. But now they're understanding that you need to, like, give them ways to use their intelligence. And they're a lot more intelligent than people give them credit for.
Well, dogs are also kind of social creatures anyway, right?
They are.
So, I mean, it just makes sense.
I mean, they're finding the same thing out about cats. Recent years, they're finding out they used to not think cats could recognize their names. They just recognized the tone that you used when you were calling their names.
Yeah.
And now they know that, yeah, they recognize their names at all times. They just don't care.
Yeah.
So if you use a different tone, they just don't care.
I assumed that.
I mean, you can assume that, but there was no, like, scientifically proven evidence to support that until recently because nobody asked that question.
How recently? Like, what's the stuff
I would
that
say
you're
within,
quoting?
like, the past 10 years. I don't have exact studies.
I'm just asking for more information. That's all. I'm not saying that I don't know. Like, I haven't seen any of the stuff you're talking about. But
I mean, the cat study I'm referencing was done in Japan. I'm trying to think. I read it a few years ago.
so, all of this comes back to whether or not something is considered to be self-aware.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about isn't an indication that anything is self-aware.
Okay.
Or has the capacity to
So,
ask
in the sense,
who it is.
we can ask questions about our awareness and our language, but how would you go about measuring that in a species that doesn't have a language we're aware of?
What?
We can ask that question with our capacity for language.
Right.
But, I mean, we don't really understand language as much with other species. Like, we know it exists, like, with dolphins and whales and stuff,
Right,
but
yeah.
we don't know how to measure that. We don't know if they're asking themselves questions.
Well, I think that we do,
Okay, so how do you think that?
because they're not intelligent enough to ask those questions in the first place.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have any way to measure that intelligence to know that.
I disagree.
Oh my gosh.
Well, so for example, you know that there are IQ tests, right? Like there are tests you
Yeah,
can go to
but we
take.
already know those aren't really a true measure of intelligence.
How do we know that?
Because they're finding that out with, like, recent education knowledge. Like, those aren't the best way to determine intelligence, and that's not the only type of intelligence that's out there. Like, the intelligence that's measured with IQ tests.
Well, it's a basic overall intelligence test that measures a lot of different
I mean,
stretches of the brain, I guess. I don't know how else to put it.
I wouldn't say that. Like, I mean, they're mostly just, like, knowledge that you either have and some basic, like, reasoning type. Man, it is nasty out.
Yeah. The weather is not great here.
Oh,
And I'm getting all
shit.
kinds of,
Oh,
fuzzy stuff
shit.
because fucking fish that want to eat my face off.
That's nice. You go to the other side and we don't get off the map. Anyways, like.
So hang on a second. Okay, we just took a break. You guys don't know that though, because I just cut it out. But we're back. So go ahead with what you were saying just now, because we were talking a little bit off camera, but I didn't want to talk too much because I want to include the viewer on the conversation. Go ahead.
Okay, so we did a little bit of reading up on like self-awareness in animals.
Yes.
And they listed several species like dolphins, elephants.
Yeah, you just gotta hide from the fucking fish.
The giant ass motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a bunch of little fish too. But anyway.
Yeah, the little fish can imagine.
Yeah. So go ahead. What you're saying.
What would the list of like elephants, dolphins, magpies.
Yes.
A lot of the
magpies.
apes.
I think that's pretty cool. That there's a bird that's super smart. I didn't know that.
Corvids are super intelligent. They're finding out more and more about that. Like I said, I mean, the more studies that are being done on animals, the more they're finding out that they are extremely.
Oh shit! It's fucking fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw the school of them swim by.
Yeah.
You're supposed to. I guess if you stay by the light, then they kind of leave you alone. But.
I mean, you are supposed to duck into the shelters, though, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, there's a whole lot of things that we just don't know. And one of the things I've noticed personally, like he made a point to say that he didn't see any dogs or cats on the list.
Hang on.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Tao, can you hear this? Anyone there?
This is Tao. Who is this?
This is Ian Peterson of Theta calling. I got a team with me, and we're about half a kilometer from Tao.
What? How did... You came in the climber?
Listen, we're having a really hard time with this sector. Heavy turbulence is making it difficult to move forward, and the wildlife you got is absolutely rabid.
The storm comes and goes. The instruments show the weather is relatively fair right now. You should move out as soon as possible. Stick to the lights. The critters should leave you alone.
All right, you heard the man. We're moving out, people. Tao, keep the doors unlocked. We're coming in.
All right, go ahead.
Anyways, Steven here made the comment that we didn't see any cats or dogs on any of the lists, and I haven't actually seen it in dogs recognize through the mirror tests recognize themselves. In fact, my mom's dog, who's real dumb.
Explain what the mirror test is.
Oh, well, the mirror test is basically being able to look in the mirror and recognize that it is themselves.
How do they do that?
It's not another animal. I mean, there's different ways that they can tell, but usually it's like doing the whole mirror image thing, like, hey, this is my hand, and my hand is moving.
No, they do.
Like, I mean, they do other stuff, but it's
so
the idea.
Let me jump in for a second.
Go for it.
So, I'm trying to remember what this part is.
Oh,
right, we're calling. We're calling the little robot buddy.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah, there we go. It's a slightly different model.
This is
but we're gonna need him, and I didn't realize what was happening, but like he already left. So what they would do is like the mirror test is like they'll put a red dot or something on an animal, maybe on their forehead or something, and then like monkeys pass this pretty easily, a bunch of different kinds of monkeys, chimps like orangutan, some other stuff, and then they'll put them in front of a mirror so that they can see the red dot, and then if they react to it by like scratching their head or doing anything to acknowledge that there's a mark on their body, then that's how you know that they recognize it. They're looking at themselves. So go ahead.
I mean, and that's your standard test of like determining things. Obviously, like I tend to go by, just in my personal experience, like the natural graduation that like human babies have, where like at first they're confused because they're like, what's this? And then they're like, is that another baby? And then eventually they get to the point where they recognize it as themselves. Like, and you can look up more detailed information on it. Jeez, it's so hard to see. Oh, well that's not good.
No, that's our buddy.
Oh,
Yeah, it's our friend.
Our buddy.
That's our creeper buddy.
That's super homeboy.
Yeah, he's creeping.
But yeah, so like I said, doing the mirror test on my animals that I have at home just because Anyways, I've done like just basic stuff because I'm a nerd. And what is this? Are we in a tunnel?
Try and stay on topic.
I'm really bad at that.
Ignore
We're
the
looking
spiders.
At a video.
Ignore the cave
No,
spiders.
It's a spider cave that should be set on fire.
Yeah, they really should.
Sorry, I'm really bad about staying on topic, guys. I do this
And stop.
in regular.
And stop saying
Okay.
That's a hard challenge.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. I would love to do that for all my job interviews.
Try to do it right now. Now's a good time to practice. Go ahead.
Shut up.
Say what's on your mind. No ums.
It.
You already screwed up your
Yeah,
challenge.
I know, it's over.
So okay, well here before you actually now since you procrastinated, look. How do you not see that's an anglerfish right in front of you?
I see it now.
Yeah. Our first time through.
Yeah.
Our first time through here, she was like, "Oh, look, a light," and I'm like, "No, that's a fish coming to eat our face with big teeth."
I'm definitely the prey that those fish eat. I'm all like, light way up ahead.
Anglerfish have never been bros in any game ever.
Oh, still there.
Yeah, and you're like, I still didn't see it, and I'm like, how do you not see it?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that freaked me out hardcore. I was not expecting. Like I saw the light at first, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's a good thing. Oh no, it's the opposite.